time is 8:17 a.m. and Africa has been garnering more attention as an investment destination because there are many countries in Africa which are frontier markets, such as Nigeria, which is what we're going to be focusing on today. Now, Richard, before we sort of go into the segment, to put this in context, can you explain to our listeners what a frontier market is and how it actually differs, let's say, from an emerging market?
Yes, well, frontier markets are the new hot thing in a way, because you have the developed markets, you have what we call the emerging markets, and these are all things that we know quite well, you know, like China and Thailand. And then we come to the frontier markets area, which are another stage again, but which still have stock markets, very thin, small stock markets, but they're still there. Markets like Nigeria, African markets, Eastern European markets, even places like Mongolia.
And these are actually subsects of emerging markets, but they're just not as they're relatively less developed. Is that right?
They're actually seen as a separate category these days. They're probably where emerging markets were 20 years ago. You know, they're not very liquid, but they are interesting, and most of these markets have one or two stocks that are good. In fact, the performance hasn't been too bad over this difficult period, probably because nobody's been interested.
Okay, so the Nigerian stock market is one that we don't hear about a lot in Hong Kong, but it is one way to gain access to the huge growth story in Africa. It's become a popular market for direct foreign investment and portfolio investment. So we have joining us in the studio now Mr Gbite Oduneye, who is the CEO and founder of A&O Acquisitions. Good morning, Gbite.
Good morning, Renita. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us on Money for Nothing. You are visiting Hong Kong for a roadshow which is designed to promote the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So can you tell us about that?
That's very right. The roadshow started on December the 1st in Singapore. We met a number of fund managers as well as high net worth individuals and government officials, really to promote the Nigerian Stock Exchange and to talk in detail about the Nigerian economy. Leading the delegation was the CEO of the stock exchange, Mr. Oscar Onyema, as well as over 40 CEOs of listed companies. It involved a number of conversations with regards to the opportunities that do exist in the Nigerian market. We were then in Hong Kong on the 3rd of December, which was on Wednesday. We're at the Mandarin Oriental. Very similar thing where we met a number of fund managers. And as we speak now, they're starting off in Beijing for the last stage of the roadshow. They're at the Shangri-La Hotel, the New World Hotel in Beijing this morning.
Okay, so can you give us a brief? How can investors here actually access the stock exchange? And are they looking at individual Nigerian stocks? Are there funds out there? Are there ETFs? You know, give us the highlights.
Yes, there are. There are about 206 listed companies on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So the access to the markets can be done through brokers. A number of foreign brokers also do enable foreign investors trade on the market. We do have a number of ETFs, not as many. We have 4 ETFs at the moment, which enable you trade different sectors of the economy. A number of private equity companies are also accessing the market through direct deals with companies. So it's not as large as what we are used to, Hong Kong or London or New York. But we're using this exercise to further showcase the opportunities. And we believe with time, the more we do this, investors would definitely look into the Nigerian market.
Gbite, it's not the best timing because, of course, Nigeria's been hit. The stock market's been hit recently because Nigeria is an oil economy and the oil price has gone down. What do you think about the timing?
We didn't expect, in the last, the price of oil has fallen close to 36% this year. We didn't expect it to, have happened. It's unfortunate, but all the same, we see it as a short-term measure, a very, very good opportunity for investors who do have a long-term focus to take advantage of the markets. It has been a perfect storm, to say the least, because earlier on in the year we did have the Ebola crisis. The Nigerian government acted very fast to that. We're now Ebola free. Also, we do have elections coming up early next year, and normally in the cycle we do see the markets. A lot of foreign investors do pull out a bit to wait to see what the future would hold. But what we do say is we do believe the Minister of Finance, for example, has said we do have plans for a dwindling oil price. It has been difficult. It's not something that can be avoided. But if you do have a long-term focus, we do see it as a perfect opportunity to, take advantage.
Indeed. And, some of these, shocks to the system are not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to investing. I mean, after all, lower prices represent a buying opportunity.
Exactly.
Now, tell us a little bit more about value. What is the price equity ratio average that we're looking at, for Nigeria?
Well, at the moment, we're looking at about 30 to 1. Returns on the market on most companies over the course of, this year hasn't particularly been great for returns in the market. Last year, for example, we were one of the third highest performing stock markets in the world. We had returns of about 33%. This year has not been particularly great, as in the last 10 weeks, for example, the market itself has lost close to 15% as a result of these headwinds that we have experienced and witnessed. But on the overall, due to the rebasing of the Nigerian economy, we're now the largest economy in Africa. So we do believe going forward, next year, for example, we do expect to see returns of close to 20%, all things being equal. If you do have a long-term focus, and we do think it's one of the more exciting places to take advantage. And apart from the stock exchange itself, the broader economy does offer a number of opportunities for investors who do want to take advantage of the market.
Okay, Gbite, unfortunately, we are out of time, so thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm certainly looking forward to investigating with my broker as to, how I can access this, as is Richard. I know I can see him smiling, that broad smile.
Well, I would like to say thanks again for having us. We will be back again and again. We do understand that investing in Asia is about building relationships and doing public relation tours like this. So it's the first of many to come.
Fantastic. Let us know when you're back, and we'll be happy to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Renita.
All right, that is Mr. Gbite Oduneye, who is the CEO and founder of A&O Acquisitions.